Hello again. Hi. I'm going to try to read what I have talking about in on Facebook in posts from what I have experienced, and this is far away. It's in August 2010, so it's 12 years ago I wrote this about, but it's a memory about clouds. It have coming clouds sometimes to me, not very often, but it have been in one church. It come a cloud in the church service, and it was like I was not inside the church service. It was like I was on my own, and I saw just inside where all people were and worship. Suddenly it come a cloud, and it was those three men in the clouds that I have seen before. The first time I saw them was before I knew God. It was in 1997. They come through because I have talking about it in an episode. I know that it was a very thunder outside. It was very, very heavy thunderstorm that took out all electricity in the house. So what I could only lay me down in a bed and wait for us to get back the light in the house, and I had so it was very strange sleeping because of the thunder sounds, and but I wake up and sit down in a chair, and I was still a little in my sleep, and there was like a black horse, and he was like holding me in the air, and he was very beautiful in his face. It was very beautiful eyes, and I be like fall in love with him, and he was hugging me, and when he did that, suddenly it come like a crack in the wall in my home, and out from the crack in the wall came this white clouds, white cloud. One cloud was it, and in the cloud was three men, and they told the black horse to let me be. They say to him, what I remember was that they say this three that I know today is higher priest. They told him that I was too old, And I think it means that I belong to the old time, before the New Testament. But in that time, in 1997, not knowing God, not knowing the spirits, I was thinking they are talking to him that I am too old to be pregnant, to have a child. I was thinking like that, but today I'm more likely that they were saying that I belong to Abraham and those far away. But I didn't know anything about my DNA, so what could I think about? It was more like the worldly things, as I was not at all in the spirit in that time. And I have just broke up with my daughter's father and live on my own. And my daughter was in the school and I was by myself in that time. So that was the first time the cloud come with these higher priests. And then it have been some few times more that these three have coming with a white beard and white hair. And sometimes is it only like a cloud, a white cloud coming, and I see it clearly. So that means that those higher priest is very close to me. When I see the clouds, that they almost are into my room. And I talking here about 2003 in the Ramadan, and I was in a Muslim home. I lived there and I was working for them. And the man in the, now I'm reading from the post, the man in the house had been praying for some nights. When I wake up one night and I had to go to the bathroom, when I come out from the bathroom, was it a white cloud in my way? It come out from the wall, and I tried to not walk in it. So I stepped to the left and was on my way to fall down in the stairs as I was on the second floor. And the Muslims, they have the whole time the door open to their bedroom because they walking. The kids was walking into the bedroom, and that woman didn't want to have sex with her husband, so she was sleeping with her children. So it was open the whole time, so I could see him praying in the night. And then I continued to read. The man had stopped praying and was sleeping. Next day come the man in the house with a picture, with a poetry in Arabic about God, and he put it up just where the cloud come out the night before. That was very strange. I wrote, I don't know if he felt he should do so or had seen the cloud from his bed, because the door was open, and maybe he saw a white cloud. And then I write this. Since then, because this is, I write it 2018. Since then have this white cloud appeared in my home in August. I'm in my home until about September 10. It had been more and more clear. Last time did the cloud come and cover me, and now it was like traveling in this white cloud, in that way that the cloud was in two pieces, and I was traveling in a light blue path. It's a spirit here now, because I was on my way to tell you that the key word, what you should take in, it was that it was a light blue path, a blue color. Its blue color is royal. Blue to purple color is a royal color. It happened so fast, so I never started to be frightened, but I was worried that I should fly away from everything and coming to another place far from the earth. So, and I was thinking, I'm wondering what it will be this year. And I know it was when I go to the hypnosis. And I write this: I am prepared to fly away in a cloud like Elisha. And that was the post. Then it was something 2015, for 7 years ago. I got a vision this morning. I woke up and over my head did it hang like grapes in crystal. And that is this with the crystal. When I know this with the crystal, if I see that, that is a part of the throne. It not the God's throne, is Jesus' throne in hell, where he helped people coming to heaven. I write it also. I didn't see it, but now I see it. The throne is of crystal, so I know now who am cast in those small golden pieces. It was also this, that in the morning, another morning, it was like coming from the air, like cast in from the air. It had no source. It was in the air, cast down, and I was sitting on my bed and on my way to put on me clothes when it's happened, and it fall on the floor just where I was. And I look, what was that? Was that come from the air? And then it was like a golden piece. But I find it out what it was. Someone threw it out from the air, and I saw that it looked like on my Christmas tree. It was this hanging decoration, and it had like hanging on the door outside, was it? And it was for Christmas. to hanging on the door that it was Christmas, and it was of gold. And but this was in May 7, so it was far away from Christmas. All the Christmas things had I put back again to the store unit. So but of some reason they had one of parts of those that I hang on my door outside, and it throwing out from the air, and I don't know what it means, this, but as it was Christmas things, can it have been something that have with Jesus to do? These things that they do, it's not about to be correct in time or in the stories that we have. It's not about that. It's symbolic to know that it's Christ is there in the air and throwing in these Christmas things. It doesn't matter that Jesus was not born in our Christmas time. I asked that when I was in Bethlehem. The first time I was in Israel, I was to Bethlehem, and I asked there the man that was showing us Bethlehem and the church and those things, and I asked him if the sheep, because I was on shepherd field in Bethlehem, and I asked him, is the sheep going out in December? And he said, no, it's too cold here. It's up a little in like a hill, Bethlehem, so it's cold, so it can be snow there. So he said that they have them inside, the sheep. So that confirmed me. I wanted to hear, to confirm that Jesus was not born in December because of the shepherd that was out and the angels was talking to them. So I'm moving forward in my post, and this is very special that I'm going to talk about. But in my talking about my life, step by step, I talking about this when I was in North Carolina, on my way to Virginia State. I was inside a man's home. He have helped me to run away from Joe that was crazy, that was close to kill me. And I escaped because this man gave me money to buy a ticket to travel away from. I was in Daytona Beach in Florida. So he said I should come to his home. And that if it have been today, I have been very careful to do it, because I come to one that was a devil also. The devil took me out from the devil and to his home. And it was in, I wrote about it in 2015. So it was God told me today to write about how Jesus looked like in my Bible study for today. And it's a Bible. And in 2015 I thought it was Jesus that was in this white beard and white hair. But the spirits have make me understand that is the higher priest. And maybe I should not say that is true, but I saw Jesus in heaven, and he was not had no white hair and white beard. He was in his 30s and had brown red hair. But maybe he can be split in two. I don't know about that. But here I write 1 Corinthians 11 and 13. Judge in yourselves. Is it comely that a woman pray unto God uncovered? And 14. Do not even nature itself teach you that if a man have a long hair, it is a shame unto him? And 15. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. That's what is have. So I have long hair as a covering and not need any fiber or shawl. Had Jesus long hair, I ask? If so, shouldn't Peter say it is a shame for a man to be long-haired? So that's the answer. And Jesus did disappear in a crowd. The religious official, when looking for him, they could not see him, so he must have looked like a normal person in that time. They had short hair. And then is it some Bible places that I wrote here in 2015 is John 5 and 13. And then is it Luke 4 and 30. And then is John 7 and 11. And then is John 11 and 56. Jesus was a carpenter, and a carpenter in those days not only worked with wood, they worked with stones. He could not look so weak, as he must have had much muscles and strong built shoulder and arms. And Isaiah described Jesus. He had no form of majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. We do not really know how Jesus looked like, but at least not as the painting shows. As Jesus Christ, do we know how he looked like, especially we who had seen him and have talked to me. But this is how I saw it 2015, because in that time I have not the Spirit coming and talk to me and teach me how it is, the truth. So this, what I saw was not Jesus. It was a higher priest. It was higher priest that was with me. I know today because I am on a much higher level in heaven already. Even if I am still here on earth, I know I will come in to where the higher priests are in heaven, and I know because I get the revelation. When I was in the United States one evening when I was very frightened and alone, and then I knew I come from God's throne room down here on earth because I loved God so much when I was in heaven. So I say to God that I wanted to come down to earth to help the earth to understand. I ask God to come down once again to earth, and is God make it not easy for me here on earth because first of the most bad things, not bad, that was in God's will, but God created me to make me be a woman. And before, in my other lives, I have lived before and I have been man the whole time. But this time I come down to earth as a woman. And I started already to be grow up in the devil's family. And so God knew that I should meet all kind of evil things. And I have to start already as a baby to learn how the evil forces is working. So he placed me into the devil's family. And then now I am not accepted as a prophet from God because I'm a woman. If I had been a man, I have been already now on very high up in some religion here on earth, if I had been a man. But as a woman, I'm still on the same platform when it comes to the world, but in God, in heaven, there I go step by step to learn what I already knew in heaven, but I have to find it out now when I'm on earth, what to get the knowledge about heaven and God and everything that is around. So I ended now this episode by tell you once again about that this higher priest. The higher priest come first in 2000. They have been first in 1997, but then the higher priest come when I was on my way to make a suicide, and they did. It was only one higher priest that come and helped me, and had God with him. the higher priest was standing. I say how I look. If I look straight forward, was it the higher priest was on the left side, but God come, and he was not in any direction. He was only there in the air, and I didn't see a body. The higher priest did I see in the left corner of the room, but God was only there, and I heard his voice, but I never saw a body. So that was very different from each other. And then it was this man that I started to talk about. I come to his home, and the first night I was there, it was very bright light in the room, and it was impossible because there in North Carolina, the moon is not standing like it is here in Sweden. It's very high up in the sky, so the light from the moon it looked like a full moon, and that full moon should not have shining into the room, but the room was very bright. And then I heard lots of barking dogs outside the window. And I went up and I took a glass of water, and then I go to bed again. And then I asked the man in the house that, did you hear the barking? Did you wake up of this dog barking? The barking so very much. And he said, no, I didn't heard anything. And he said to me that this house is so far out in the forest. There is no neighbors around this house. There is no one that have dogs close to me, he say. So he looked at me very strange. What's this going on? I say I was awake in the night. I walked around and heard the barking of the dogs. But that was a warning that I got. And then next night, I woke up I woke out from the room now, because I don't need to read on my computer anymore. So I sit on the ordinary place I most sit and talk to you, with a portal on my left side. It's a spirit saying that to me that you were talking about the left side when the higher priest come to your home in year 2000. You say that he was standing in the left corner, and this portal door is on the left side of my living room, in the left corner. There is no walls there. It's just in the corner, left corner. That's this apartment have those spirit chosen for me. I hope I remember to talk about it after I have finished this with this man. I was in his home, and so in next morning, the second morning, I wake up, but I couldn't move with my body, but in some way I was lifted up in the spirit, because I could see down to my feet, and just about in the high of my knees, suddenly it come this man, higher priest that I know now, with white hair and white beard, and then he had this robe, eggshell robe, and sandals on his feet. The same spirit like it was in 2000, but this it was 2003, and now it was 2001, was it? And he looked at me, and I saw his eyes was like a circle, rounded, very big eyes, and he looked at me and he was screaming very loudly to me, "Get out of here!" He he was shouting to me when he jumped over me, over my over my legs, over the bed, in the air, and that was showing me that you have to rush. It's very important that you go out from here. That's why he jumped over me, to show, like, run away. And in the morning when we eat breakfast, I say to him, this man, about that it was someone coming in and talking to me in the morning. I don't know if I say, "Get out of here." But the man looked at me very surprised, and he say that to me when I told him, and he said to me that I should not stay with him anymore. He said that it's time for you to go from here. So he gave me money to could I was in Ashboro in North Carolina, and he said it's better that you go to Virginia Beach. It's a big city where you can work, he said to me. So I got the money, and he drive me to the bus station, and I go from him, and then I was thinking about, because he had a picture on the wall of a family, and they look very healthy, and he said that when he saw that I look in at his picture of his family, and he said that, yeah, I look much better in that time. He said, I have changed, he said to me. And he said that I asked him, why are you so kindly to me? You helped me and gave me money to could come to your place, and then now you give me money to travel to Virginia Beach. And the answer, he said that to me, that I understood why the higher priest told me to get out of there. It was that he told me that I have been in Vietnam. I have killed many people, he said, and I wanted to do something nice to a person once in my life, do something right for a person. So he said that he have killed many people, And he didn't say that he have killed many people in Vietnam. That he maybe have done. But when he say these things, I was thinking he had killed his family. That was in a picture. I don't really remember, but it was his wife, and then at least two small kids was in the picture. And so he was a murderer. He was a killer. So that's why the higher priest told me to get out. I was thinking, because he was nice to me, this man, and he bought me things. We were to the Walmart and we buy many things that I wanted to have, and I got it from him. He was very nice, so I was thinking I should stay there forever. I didn't care that he looked very ugly because of his way to be to me, that it was so kindly. But he was a killer. It was the devil inside him. So it was something I should talk about after this, that I should remember what it was. And now I have forgotten it. So I need to listen at this episode, and then I talk about it tonight, later on today. Now it's summer, and I need to go out in my garden because it's have been raining very much, and I need to take care of the garden now. So Jesus garden. So thank you for listening, and I will find out what it was I should talk about and recording it tonight. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.